9 News Plus weather, sponsored by Carrier Colorado. The future of home comfort is here.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Plus on this Monday, October the 24th. It's finally feeling a bit more like fall this week. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and I have some details for you on perhaps some more snow chances we get later on into the week, and also some bit more of a look back in terms of what we saw yesterday and how significant our cool down is and how long it'll last for. But first things first, take a look at Rocky Mountain National Park. This is at about 11,000 feet in elevation. That's where we picked up a fair few inches of snow up this way, and more snow on its way for this area. Perhaps a little bit more later on today into some of the higher terrain, but we'll get another round of snow into some of the higher terrain for Wednesday night and into Thursday. In the meantime, I think the story for most of us for today in terms of those, in terms of the weather, it's going to be the big cool down that we're experiencing. It is mostly sunny through Wednesday for most of us. Again, the mountains could see a stray snow shower or two later on today, but for the most part, the story will be the much cooler temperatures. We're going to struggle to hit 50 degrees here in Denver today. Our average high for today is usually in the low 60s, and there's another chance for some snow, and that could include us along the Front Range for Thursday. In the meantime, we are still seeing some action on HD Doppler radar. It's mostly confined to southern Colorado right now. That's where we're still seeing a little bit of wet snow south of Pueblo into Walsenburg and Trinidad, and some wet snowflakes still kind of moving their way through the skies for our friends in far southern Colorado. A little bit of light rain from Highway 50 on south as well, from Ordway La Junta on south into Kim and Springfield. So again, this is going to be the part of the state that we could be watching for the potential for a little bit of wet weather and action later on through the day. And also, as you get on up into the higher terrain, as I mentioned, one or two stray snow showers. We still have some moisture trapped in the mountains. You kind of saw on that cam a few moments ago, and that's where we are looking at that potential for maybe one or two leftover snow showers to develop later on today, but then those should fizzle on out pretty quickly this evening. And then I think we'll be dry for Tuesday and for most of Wednesday before our next storm system arrives from the north and west coming up on Wednesday night and mostly into Thursday. So for today, it's pretty chilly out there. I mentioned our average high for this time of year. It's normally in the low 60s. We're about 10 degrees below average with those highs struggling to get to 51 for us here in Denver. And for today, statewide, we're running a good 10 to 15 degrees below where we should be for the last week of the month of October. This is, I would say, not quite winter-like temperatures, but this would be more what we would expect maybe mid to late November as opposed to late October. And again, this happens this time of year. We get some of these cool downs. Look at Telluride, though, just 25 up there at 9,000 feet. Some spots may not get out of the 20s into some of the higher terrain, and maybe even above 11,000 feet might not get out of, may struggle to even hit 20 degrees. So certainly in the mountains, feeling like winter, and even for us here along the I-25 corridor, a bit of a late autumn type of chill for us for our day today. Now for tonight, for our friends in the western slope, including Grand Junction and Palisade, and for the Grand Valley, there is a freeze warning that will be in place for overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. That's for temperatures that will drop to as low as 25 degrees for us in western Colorado. Southeast Colorado, we're talking about those temperatures dropping down to perhaps as low as 23 in a few areas. And then from the northeastern part of the state for us here in the Denver area and the immediate metro area, we did drop down to 31 officially at DIA last night. One thing to also note, though, with that low temperature, though, I think we'll be a little warmer tonight. We've got a bit more wind in place tonight. That should keep those temperatures perhaps just above freezing, but at the airport it may drop down to 31. So we're going to call for an official low at the airport at 31, downtown probably 34, 35 for most of the immediate area. So I know at my house, I live in central Denver, we did have a freeze. We did get down about 30, 31 at my house overnight tonight. I think the growing season has ended for most of the metro area, but in case your plants held on last night, you are probably okay today and tonight, but I think as we get later on through the week, we'll have another chance of getting those temperatures perhaps down into the 20s. We haven't had a hard freeze yet, which is 28 degrees or below, but we do have a chance for getting down there later on this week. More on that here in just a second. Tomorrow, temperatures considerably warmer than today. Will be near 60 degrees for us. Winds out of the south-southwest at 5 to 15 miles an hour. And then that's out ahead of our next storm system. We'll be dry tomorrow And then our next storm system drops on through Wednesday night and Thursday, and it'll bring us the chance for another round of snow for us into the mountains. And for us here along the Front Range, I think we have the chance for seeing some snow showers during the day on Thursday. I think there's actually probably a better chance for seeing some accumulating snow in southeastern Colorado, including Pueblo and Colorado Springs. Denver area, we could get a bit of slush here during the day on Thursday. I wouldn't exactly do cartwheels about this if you're hoping to do snow angels or anything like that and get some real snow. This is not going to be the storm system for the Front Range for that, but we could be talking about maybe a little bit of slush on your car tops, that sort of thing. So Snapchat snow is what I would call this snow chance for us on Thursday for us along the Front Range. It will not be any sort of a big deal if we do see snow here in town. Maybe a bit more than what we saw last night. Now, last night, most of the metro area is seeing a few flakes. We saw a trace of snow officially at the airport, but this may be a bit more than that. But I don't think we're going to be looking at anything meaningful if we do see accumulating snow here in Denver. Could get us on the board, though. Could get our first measurable snow of the season. Once we get past that, though, a lot of sunshine for the upcoming weekend. Beautiful weekend ahead. Seasonable temperatures maybe a little bit above average for the weekend ahead and into next week. And the start of November, just about there. We're just, next Monday is Halloween, and the next Tuesday is November the 1st. Now, here's some good news to leave you with. How about this? Snowpack here statewide. Now, keep in mind, it's the end of October. We just started measuring snowpack a little over a week ago. So we're talking about these snowpack numbers. This would be like the Rockies winning opening day. So just put that into perspective. But that said, it's like the Rockies won opening day, maybe the first 2 games of the season like that. It's nice to see that snowpack well above average, especially in the southwestern part of the state. And we're going to get a reinforcing shot of that snow later on this week with a few more inches into the higher terrain. Denver, our first freeze of the season. Our average first freeze was on October the 7th. So this is very late for us to be talking about our first freeze. It means temperatures at or below 32 degrees. We officially dropped down there at 31 last night at DIA. Central Park did drop down to 32 as well in downtown. Again, I can give you a little anecdotal insight. In my house, it did drop down to 30 degrees, and I'm central Denver. So give you a pretty good idea that we did drop down in most areas here in the metro area, down to 30 to 32 degrees for us. A few areas did not quite get down there, but most of us did, and that means we did see our first widespread freeze of the season and our coldest temperature since May the 21st for us here in the Denver area. And also, we did not see officially measurable snowfall to the mountains. Look at this. Vail, Steamboat, Powderhorn, Beaver Creek, 8, 9, 10 inches. Good storm in the mountains. Pretty decent opening storm of the season for the mountains. Certainly our first meaningful snow into the higher terrain. But for us here in Denver, we did not officially see measurable snowfall. Our average first measurable snowfall date is October the 18th. The last year we had to wait till December the 10th to get our first measurable snow. As I mentioned, we do have another chance at getting that measurable snow on Thursday. So trace, what that means, you get a few flakes. Measurable snowfall means you can measure at least 1/10 of an inch of snow or more. We did not get there, as I mentioned, this past week, but we do have the chance, or I should say last night, we do have a chance for getting there coming up later this week on Thursday. And it looks like during the day on Thursday, I think we got probably 60-40, 70-30 chances of getting measurable snowfall. If we do see it, though, I think we're talking about less than an inch, if anything, for us here in Denver. And again, there's a pretty decent chance we don't get any from this upcoming storm system. It comes during the day. There's not a ton of moisture with it. It looks like the bulk of it stays to the south of the Denver area. It's going to be mainly Colorado Springs and Pueblo. So we'll fine-tune this as we get a bit closer. But there is another snow chance on Thursday. In the meantime, it feels very fall-like this week. Unlike last week's widespread 70s and sunshine, it actually feels like fall this week with highs mostly in the 50s. I'll have another update for you coming up at 9 News at noon and also at 2 p.m. here on 9 News Plus. And then we'll have more updates for you coming from Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin at 4 and 5, and then Meteorologist Danielle Grants in at 6, 9, and 10 tonight on the 9 News family of networks. Once again, Meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and have a great rest of your Monday.